that discusses the Muslim Brotherhood, who they are, what their objectives are, what their MOs are, what their how they're actually operating on the street, and specifically that their primary objective is not violent jihad. It's information warfare. It's influence operations. It's to walk into an office wearing a very nice suit and an incredibly warm demeanor and nuzzling up to the leadership in DHS, FBI, State Department, and creating what, in the counterintelligence community is a targeted information campaign or an influence operation to get that leader to defer to that individual. In this case, that individual is an enemy of the United States. They are able to put us on our heels and keep us from aggressively going after these people.
Why in the world we ain't training to our FBI and CIA? Because the war is over. "9/11 Commission report." Of course, you all heard about that. It took Bush intelligence 2.5 years to work hard to tell us what exactly happened on September 11. And in the report, which were made just without any agenda, we looked at the word Islam. We found that it is 322 times. Muslim, 145 times. The word Islam, 126 times. And the word jihad, jihadist, is 32 times. This is just the words which mentioned in the first report made by Bush. Now, in 2009, we got another report made by Obama. Look at the change. And instead of the word Islam is mentioned 322 times, no, it's mentioned only 0 times. Instead of the word Muslim is mentioned 145 times, no, 0 times. Jihad, 0 times. Jihadist, 0 times. Coincidence? 2008, 635 times, these 4 words. 2009, 0 time, America. I can go for 100. I can go for 50. I can go for 5. Just mention each one of them once. 0 time. Why is that? Because we got a good, loving, peaceful Christian president. Now, Eric Holder, in this last slide we saw in the video, the FBI said, our intelligence is afraid of this man, Eric Holder, and they're not afraid of the jihadis which were fighting overseas. We pay Eric Holder to silence us, to silence our intelligence. He's working for the Muslim jihadis. He's not working for us. And I'm going to prove it to you. Very simple. This is the question answer Congress Smith with Eric Holder about the last 3 attacks in America. That's Nidam Malik Hassan, Fort Hood, Texas, Omar Farouk, the underwear bomber, the Delta flight, and Mr. Shazat, the New York Square bombers. Listen to the interview.
In the case of all 3 attempts in the last year, the terrorist attempts, one of which was successful, those individuals have had ties to radical Islam. Do you feel that these individuals might have been incited to take the actions that they did because of radical Islam?
What is wrong in the question? Radical Islam. Thank you, sir. Radical Islam. When you ask a dumb question, you get no answer. And here's the proof.
Because of
radical Islam?
There are a variety of reasons why I think people have taken these actions. It's hard. One, I think you have to look at each individual case. I mean, we're in the process now of talking to Mr. Shazad to try to understand what it is that drove him to take the action he took.
But radical Islam could have been one of the reasons?
There are a variety of reasons why people...
But was radical Islam one of them?
There are a variety of reasons why people do these things. Some of them are potentially religious-based.
Okay, but all I'm asking is if you think among those variety of reasons, radical Islam might have been one of the reasons that the individuals took the steps that they did.
We see, say, radical Islam. I mean, I think those people who espouse a version of Islam that is not
Are you uncomfortable attributing any of their actions to radical Islam? It sounds like
No,
it.
I don't want to say anything negative about a religion.
I don't want to say anything negative about a religion. Just open the Quran and read, sir, for me. Maybe I can find something positive about Islam in the Quran. Obama told him, don't you dare use the word radical Islam. Don't. He will lose his job on the spot.
That is
No, I'm not talking about a religion.
Like
I'm talking about radical Islam. I'm not talking about the general religion.
An idiot. Dumb and dumber. This is the gentleman I sent my Quran 2 years ago. As we send a copy to every senator, every congressman, and every governor, and every High Supreme Justice Court, and I beg you, make a phone call to your legislator and ask them, have you read the generous Quran yet? Because the answer is in the book. It's sick. He's not talking about Islam. He's talking about the radical Islam.
Right, and I'm saying that a person like Anwar Alaki, for instance, who has a version of Islam that is not consistent with the teachings of it, and who espouses a radical version.
Could radical Islam have motivated these individuals to take the steps that they did?
I certainly think that it's possible that people who espouse a radical version of Islam have had an ability to have an impact on people like Mr. Shahzad.
Okay, and could it have been the case in one of these three instances?
Could that have been the case?
Yeah, could one of these three individuals have been incited by radical Islam? Apparently you feel that they could have been.
Well, I think potentially incited by of Islam that is inconsistent with the
Mr. A.J., it's hard to get an answer, yes or no, but let me go on to my next question.
There's no answer. Simply, there's no answer. Here, Brandon House called me about this video about Anwar al-Awlaki online. It's in Arabic. Brandon cannot read Arabic. He said, can you translate to me what they're saying? I said, sure. I translated the answer from Mr. Smith to Mr. Eric Holder 6 or 8 months, I don't know, 7 months before Mr. Eric Holder got the question. I know the answer. Usama Dakdok, knows the answer for this question. I don't know. Why they don't hire me as a general attorney? I can do the job better. As a matter of fact, I'll do it for free. Here, let's listen to the answer from Anwar al-Awlaki himself. I think Anwar al-Awlaki can answer this question for us. Listen carefully. Anwar al-Awlaki will do a better job than Eric Holder.
Now, the Americans have accused you of having a part in the operation that Brother Nidal Hassan performed against the American soldiers at Fort Hood.
Yes, Nidal Hassan is one of my students, and that's an honor for me. I feel honored that the likes of Nidal Hassan are from my students. What he did was a heroic job, a wonderful operation, and we ask Allah, the Almighty, to grant him steadfastness and protect him and hasten his release. And I support what he did, and I call everyone who claims to be a Muslim and is working in the American Army to take the path of Nidal Hassan. For good deeds, do away bad deeds.
Thank you. Nidal Malik Hassan is his student. And he's proud of it. And he's asking every Muslim in our military to do the same. And don't worry, Obama loaded our military the last 4 years with Muslims. Have you heard of the pilot program? Anybody? Pilot program? 1, 2, 3. The pilot program is made for Muslims to take over our military by Barack Hussein Obama. And he said, immigrant without green card, that is illegal Muslims, but political correctness. If they have medical skill, like Nidal Malik Hassan, or language skill, if they join our army, in 10 weeks, not 10 months, not 10 years, in 10 weeks, they will become citizens of the United States of America. And only a few thousand join, and you never even know that the program exists. 3 of you know it. Let's say it one more time from Anwar al-Awlaki.
بعد قصف أبين وشبوة قام المجاهد عمر الفاروق.
After the bombing on Abyan and Shabwa, Omar Farouk carried out an attempt to blow up an American passenger jet operated by Delta Airlines, which headed from the city of Amsterdam to the American city of Detroit. What is your connection with Omar Farouk?
About the brother Omar Farouk, he also is from my students. And also I am very proud that the likes of Omar Farouk are from my students, and I support what he did.
You got the idea? They are all his students. They're all his friends. Eric Holder does not know that, but I know that. And now you know that.
One of the things that we were told as a nation with the election of the current president was that this previous idea of us being in a sort of a worldwide war against Islamic jihad was fundamentally flawed. And that essentially that kind of worldview created more problems. Can you tell us what the level of background activity has been since the election of Barack Obama? They claimed that electing President Obama would reduce the number of attacks on the country. Is that what we're seeing?
No, since January of last year, 2009, there have been a significant increase in obviously actual attacks here in the United States, attempted attacks, thwarted attacks, and certainly a surge of activity, especially after, say, February of 2009.
Why?
They are concluding that we are being weak and showing weakness, both domestically and overseas, and certainly our activity overseas and here is indicative of that, and therefore you will naturally always see then a spike of their activity if they think we're in a position of weakness and they're in a position of strength. Certainly there is still a continued problem with awareness of what the threat is, who the enemy is, in the domestic law enforcement intelligence units, as well as overseas with the agency. We still have not identified an enemy. If you can't identify an enemy, you can't defeat him.
If you don't know who's your enemy, how are you gonna win? Who is our enemy? You see, I asked this question for the last 11 years. Who did it and why he did it? And nobody answered it. Who did September 11 and why they did it? It was made by the Muslim. Why? Because they hate us and because they're practicing what Allah commands them in the Quran and what Muhammad taught them in the Hadith. There are true 19 believers, victim of Islam, who did what they did. But now, we're dealing with Al-Qaeda and we're dealing with the Brotherhood. As a matter of fact, Obama says the Brotherhood is a secular group. The Brotherhood is the mother, is the foundation of every jihadist organization from the days of, I don't know when, years and years ago. But Obama thinks they are secular group. So the Brotherhood are a secular group. Al-Qaeda is a secular group. Who are the terrorists? Evangelical Christian like me. No kidding. That's how it works. Because I teach hate. My dear brothers and sisters, I never taught hate. I never taught anybody to hate the Muslim. My teaching is very clear. It is the words of Allah in the Quran and the command of Muhammad in the Hadith. That is what hate is all about. I teach to love the Muslim because they are victim of Islam. Listen to next state to you, the state of Illinois.
In August of 2011, Illinois Governor Pat Quinn named members to serve on the Muslim American Advisory Council, which will help to ensure Muslim American participation in Illinois state government.
So is Wisconsin, so is California, so is Florida, and every governor in this country are seeking Muslim for office, which is illegal. You cannot seek Baptist or Catholic or any specific group, but they are doing it anyway. You can't even do it if you own a job. You say, I need a white guy or a black lady, Baptist or Catholic. If you do that, you get sued. But our government are doing it. What is Sharia? Sharia is not Sharia law. I hear everybody here in America, and I love you and respect you, learn something tonight. The word Sharia means law. The word Sharia means law, so if you say Sharia law, you're literally saying law. And when Muslim hear you say Sharia law, they American idiot, don't know what they're talking about.